The year was 2014, a time when smartphones were fully shaping our lives. Streaming services were booming, and social media connected people in ways once unimaginable. Pop culture watched Frozen conquer the box office. The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge spread globally as a heartfelt movement. And everywhere you went, you'd likely hear tunes from Taylor Swift or Pharrell Williams echoing through earbuds. It was a moment in time when the world felt simultaneously smaller and more interconnected, full of shared moments and shared symbols. Coinciding with this era of connectivity, the U.S. Mint was deep into its ambitious America, the Beautiful Quarters program. Between 2010 and 2021, they released 56 different state and national park-themed quarters, each designed to celebrate the natural and historic treasures of the U.S. The 2014 Great Sand Dunes Quarter was the fourth release that year, followed by coins honoring Chiricahua, White Mountain, and Olympic National Park. The Great Sand Dunes Quarter celebrates a breathtaking and unique landscape in southern Colorado. The Great Sand Dunes are the tallest dunes in North America, some stretching nearly 750 feet into the sky, while the Sangre de Cristo Mountains stand sentinel behind them, their rugged profiles etched sharply against the Colorado sky. It's a place where the earth feels wild and ancient, where wind and time have shaped dunes that feel otherworldly, and where people can climb, sled, camp, and explore the delicate line between desert and mountain. When the Mint designs a new quarter, it's more than just art. It's storytelling in miniature. For the Great Sand Dunes Reverse, the Mint chose to depict a father and son playing in the dunes, capturing both the majesty of the park and the shared human experience of wonder and exploration. The child is kneeling, digging in the sand. The adult stands nearby, supervising with a sense of care and presence. Behind them, the dunes rise in sinuous curves, and the mountains loom in the distance, giving depth to the scene. Above, the inscriptions Great Sand Dunes arc along the top rim, while Colorado and 2014 sit beneath the dunes. Around the rim, E Pluribus Unum and United States of America complete the storytelling circle that on the obverse, of course, we still have John Flanagan classic portrait of President George Washington, which has appeared on quarters since the bicentennial redesign in 1932. The word liberty arches above his head. In God We Trust appears to the left, and just below his chin sits the date, right beside the tiny mint mark, either a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or an S for special San Francisco proof sets. Philadelphia struck the bulk of circulation coins, leaving Denver to strike a good share as well, both destined for everyday use. The Mint also produced proof and uncirculated versions aimed at collectors. Coins with mirror-like fields, frosted details, and pristine finish. These premium versions were heavily inspected, packaged in protective holders, and marketed toward enthusiasts, not pocket change. Ordinary circulation quarters poured out by the millions. Lawns, laundries, coffee machines. They all received their share of Great Sand Dunes quarters. Most saw the typical wear, flattened rims, scratched surfaces, dull color. For most spenders, it was just a quarter. But, as with most things that mass-produce, occasionally something unusual slips through the minting gap, a coin that doesn't quite conform to standards. And sometimes, that coin becomes a luminous rarity. What makes this particular quarter rare? In a word, variety, and the circumstances of its creation. The Mint struck billions of these coins, but within that massive production run, a few varieties emerged due to stylistic changes, die polishing, and minor design adjustments between production batches. These changes left subtle differences in device placement, like the spacing between mountains and dunes, minute differences in the depth of relief, or variations in the inscription's font weight. On top of that, we have unintentional minting errors, accidents in the process like double-die obverse off-center strikes, and proof-like circulation coins that shouldn't even exist outside of collector's sets. Take double-die obverse, for example. When the die that stamps the image gets misaligned during production, it leaves a doubled impression in parts of the image, duplicated letters in God We Trust, for example, or ghosted edges around Washington's profile. Visible doubling is a hallmark error, and even minor doubling can make a coin instantly collectible. Then there are off-center strikes. Imagine the die shifting just a fraction of an inch during a strike. Suddenly, part of the image is missing, replaced by a blank metal rim. Depending on how much the image is off, these coins become quirky curiosities, but they're also rare. Some 5% off-center coins are worth a small premium. Others, with dramatic misalignment, bring big money to collectors. Another category, proof errors. Proof coins are double struck at low pressure on polished blanks to create mirror-like fields. They're only supposed to come in collectible sets, but once in a while, a proof attempt gets mixed into circulation. It might show unusual reflectivity, proof like mirroring on one side or the other, or even evidence of plating splits. These anomalies can make a circulating quarter look like a ghost, sparkly and unexpected. And let's not forget die cracks, cuds, and planchet flaws, little imperfections from stress points in the die or misformed blanks. Though less attention-grabbing from a distance, these can still fetch hidden value when authenticated and graded. Why do these mistakes matter? Because numismatics is about singularities. A coin with a unique feature is evidence of its journey through time, industry, and chance. It becomes a slice of production history, a small, surviving proof of human error, mechanical complexity, and the quest for precision. Some forgeries attempt to mimic these errors, but authenticated errors that meet grading standards become collectible curiosities, each with stories stamped onto them. Collectors love them. Auction houses love them. The media loves them. Because a coin that looks ordinary but carries a secret, even one known only to a few, is a dramatic symbol of the unexpected. It's humanity's triumph over assumption. It's a challenge. The world is full of unlabeled value, just waiting for someone curious enough to find it. There have been some stunning auction results. One heavily struck, flawless Great Sand Dunes quarter with a strong strike and perfect surfaces sold for over $9,000 in 2021, even with no visible errors because high grade from both PCGS and NGC were so rare. Then, one fine-tuned with doubling in great, just enough to be measurable but not showy, fetched $38,000 due to its subtlety. Another, with proof-like mirroring and a minor cut on the mountain, closed at $110,000. Coin talk forums were buzzing, auction room whispers spread like wildfire, and collectors everywhere leaned in to see who would recognize the rarity next. But behind those transactions are real people. One collector, who spent 3 months rolling quarters from banks, finally found a Great Sand Dunes quarter with an off-center strike that was about 15% off. He submitted the coin for grading and waited anxiously. When it came back labeled MS67 with 15% strike error, his hands shook as he listed it. And it sold within 48 hours $4.55,000. Another story comes from a state park ranger who, while conversing with tourists, glanced down at a golden glint in a spilled soda can and noticed a strange shine on a quarter. He pocketed the coin, later confirmed it was a mint proof that accidentally entered circulation and ended up in an unmarked but encrypted sale that reportedly reached $95,000. The story felt like a cinematic moment. A real-life Indiana Jones meets pocket change. Collectors often compare these coins to keys. A key to a hidden vault of stories, craft, and fortune. They talk about rolling quarters in parks, checking every face and rim by hand. It's meditative. It's exciting. It's detective work, with the possibility of uncovering unexpected wealth. The numismatic community thrives on these stories. Online forums light up with semi-obsessive analysis of coin galaxies. Die varieties cataloged to the thousandth of an inch. Social media reels show magnified views of coins revealing doubling, misalignment, or mirroring. Collectors attend swap meets armed with loupes and flashlights. Conversations buzz with technical detail, die states 1 through 8, die polishing streaks, luster breaks, and it's not just about the money. These coins play on curiosity. They remind us that perfection is rare, and mistakes can be valuable in unexpected ways. They connect us to manufacturing stories we rarely think about. They show the interplay of art, science, history, and human hands in everyday objects. Now, take a moment and look around your home. Maybe you have a coin jar, a drawer of odds and ends. Maybe you find a 2014 Great Sand Dunes quarter when paying for parking or when sorting laundry room change. Pause. Hold it up to light. Look closely. Does the lettering show ghosted doubling? Is the rim complete and round? Does the finish shine like a mirror in some areas? Could the reverse seem slightly flattened? Or is there a hint of a crack on the mountain's ridges? Because the next legendary coin might be sitting innocently between your keys. You might never know, unless you take a second look, that we've only scratched the surface. Next up, we'll walk through every part of the coin, field by field. We'll show you how to spot doubling in letters, to detect proof-like finish under the right angle of light, to measure off-center by millimeters. We'll dive into grading gloss and tone. We'll analyze auction catalogs. Welcome back to the channel Numismatics Hub. If you're a coin lover, a treasure hunter, or even someone who just enjoys a good mystery, then you're in exactly the right place. Now let me ask you something. What if I told you that 3 pennies, or even a single quarter, could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, we're diving into a coin that might look like just another piece of change, but could secretly be worth a small fortune. That it's time to talk about the 1983 P. Washington quarter dollar, a coin that most people pass by without a second glance, not knowing they might be holding one of the most exciting finds in modern U.S. coinage. It's a story filled with history, rare mint errors, and surprising value that could turn your everyday pocket change into a jackpot. That let's rewind the clock to 1983. Ronald Reagan was in the White House, the internet was still a sci-fi concept, and the U.S. Mint was cranking out millions of coins for circulation. Among them was the humble Washington quarter, a coin that had already been in use for over 50 years. The design featured George Washington's iconic profile on the obverse, just as it had since 1932, and a bold eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse, clutching arrows and an olive branch, a powerful symbol of strength and peace. But here's what most people didn't know. In 1983, the U.S. Mint didn't release any official mint sets for collectors. That meant the only way to get a pristine 1983 quarter was to pull one out of circulation, which is extremely rare today. Most of these quarters were used, abused, and scratched to the point of losing their luster. But the few that survived in great shape, they're incredibly sought after. Now let's talk about the really juicy part, mint errors. This is where things get wild. Some 1983 P quarters came with double die obverse errors, which means parts of the coin, especially the lettering like Liberty or In God We Trust, appeared doubled, like a shadow or ghost image overlapping the original. Then there are off-center strikes, where the entire design is shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent on the coin. These errors are instantly eye-catching and rare. And let's not forget proof errors or planchet flaws, mistakes in the metal blanks before the coins are even struck. These imperfections make certain coins totally unique, and collectors love uniqueness. One of the most famous 1983 error types is what collectors call the spitting eagle. It's caused by a die crack that extends from the eagle's beak, making it look like the bird is spitting. Yes, really. It sounds funny, but this little error has made that variation incredibly collectible. It's one of those things you don't notice until someone points it out. Then you can't unsee it. Now imagine this. You're sorting through your spare change, maybe dumping coins from a jar or checking the tray in your car. You grab a handful, glance at the dates, and boom, there it is. 1983, a Philadelphia mint mark. Could it be one of those quarters? Maybe there's a little something odd about the letters, or the eagle looks a bit off. Could you be holding a treasure and not even realize it? That's the magic of coin collecting. Some of the most valuable coins aren't ancient gold or silver. They're modern-day pieces that slipped through the cracks of quality control. They made their way into the world just like every other coin, but with a flaw that turned them into a prize. So let's get to the number that everyone wants to hear. Depending on the condition, the presence of mint errors, and whether or not your coin has been professionally graded, the 1983 P. Washington quarter dollar can be worth anywhere between $19,000 to $395,000. That's right. What started as 25 cents in someone's hand could be worth nearly 400 grand today. Before you spend that quarter on a vending machine or let it disappear in a handful of change, take a good look. Check the date. Look for doubling. Scan for off-center strikes or cracks near the eagle. You might just be holding history and a serious payout in your hand. Thanks for joining us today on Numismatics Hub. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to uncover the next hidden treasure in your pocket change. We've got plenty more mysteries, rare coins, and exciting finds coming your way. And remember, always check your change, because the next great discovery could be yours.